Hi kawan, welcome to EDCReady. Today we are doing a full disassembly and maintenance of this guy. This is the Spyderco Native 5 Salt. One of the knives that I feel like is the perfect one knife for your one knife collection. Got this guy secondhand from a guy named Wilson here in EDC Malaysia. And since this is used, I don't think he's ever taken it apart, because when I tried to take it apart, I couldn't, because there was a hell of a lot of what I would assume a red Loctite. So I had to do the hair dryer technique where I had to heat up the pivot until the Loctite melted, and then I could unscrew it finally. So here we go, let's take it apart. Now the reason why I'm taking it apart is because I want to know if there's any like internal issues or whatever. I don't think there's any internal issues. However, the action is quite gritty. This action right here, super gritty. The good thing about this is that I know that there is not going to be any rust inside of it, because this is, after all, a salt knife, which means it is designed to have no rust at all. So somewhere here you can kind of see, if the camera would focus, yeah, you can kind of see just a little bit of Loctite there, but on the inside here you can see that it is caked with Loctite, if you can see in there. Yeah, okay, so let's take it apart. One thing I really like about this knife, just like with my 10-gram Santa Fe, is that all the screws to take apart the knife, okay, which is the pivot screws and then the screws on this on the back spacer here, they are all T8 screws, which is something I really enjoy. Now, unlike with their other FRN knives in the past, like the Delica, like the what was the other one, the Dragonfly, this guy does open up like sideways, whereas the Delica and the Dragonfly, you gotta treat it like it is an integral knife. But this guy can actually split in half, like so. Okay, there we go, and it just splits in half like that. So as you can see here, the entire knife is FRN. There is no liner, there is no washer even. There's just this little thing here that kind of rubs off against. And then you have the spring here, you have the back lock here, then you have the pivot and the knife itself. Just lift this up so I can pull out the blade. There we go. Now the pivot, it's not one of those like spinning pivots in the middle here that you see on some of the Taichung knives. Some of the Taichung compression locks, like the Sage 5 lightweight, has a spinning internal pivot, but this guy just has a normal pivot, and it is dirty. This knife is really dirty, so I am going to use a little bit of extra cleaning action here with some rubbing alcohol. Put that there, and a little Q-tip just to get a lot of this grease out, because as you can tell, knife is pretty greasy. Hence why it's got such a rough action. So I'm just going to take this with some rubbing alcohol that I got from a pharmacy, and then just clean it around. Get all that gunk out. Now the reason why you want to use rubbing alcohol instead of water is because, well, number one, alcohol can sterilize things. So if you have any kind of bacteria or whatever, this can help with that. Let me just remove this. There we go. And some more gunk came out there, right there. And on top of that, alcohol evaporates really quickly, so it's not really going to stay in there for too long. Okay, now you want to remove the grease from all the internal pieces and edges here. Okay, cleaning it up on this side, getting nice and dirty. Pop. Clean up in those. Alright, let's see now, what else would we need to clean? That has been cleaned. So now what I'm doing is that I am tapping out the residue of the, this goes in here like that, right? Yeah, so I'm tapping out the residue of the Loctite that is kind of like all dusty on the inside. That is where that's coming from. Alright, I'm going to clean the lock bar. Use some of this alcohol. I did do a video about my entire knife cleaning kit, so you can just check that out on my channel. No links in the description in that video, but you know, I think I told you guys where I bought these things. Pharmacy. This I bought from a local guy named Yiren. He's a knife sharpener. This I just bought online. It's a little bit driver. Alright, so now that those have been sanitized, I'm gonna close up this guy. Yeah. Now I'm just gonna go with my microfiber cloth and then just wipe away any excess dust or gunk or whatever that's on the pivots, on the blade. Okay, gotta clean my mat a little bit, like that. Wipe down this guy. Alright. As you can see, somewhere in the middle there is a little trail where the blade tends to ride on the most. That part has polished up real nicely. Because of course this is a use, so it has been used. Alright. Okay. There we go. Now, what we can do is actually we can start the reassembly process. Wait, let's just wipe this guy down a little bit. There we go. There is a little bronzing that's happening there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bronzing that's happening there. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if that is rust or whatever, but it doesn't affect the knife very much, I feel. Tang of the blade, you can kind of see where that thing is. You can kind of see that kind of brownish area over there if it focuses. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is though. This steel is not supposed to rust at all. Now this piece right here is made out of LC200N, but I'm not so sure what this guy is made of. I'm not sure if this is steel or if it is actually LC200N along with this guy. So I'm gonna have to talk to Spyderco and find out what that is all about. Okay, so the reassembly here is a lot easier than other FRN Spydercos because it splits in half. You just put this guy in there. Okay, and then I'm not sure which sequence to put this in, but I'm gonna do it in this sequence. Now we just want to push that down. So it should pretty much be like that. Now what stops this from going all the way out and jutting out like that is going to be the blade once it's in position. Okay, so now let's lube it all up. Let's lube up here. This little piece of lube there, little piece of lube there. Stick this guy in here, like so. Let's move it around. Just oil the top part there. Okay, now I'm just gonna add a little bit of lube. There is a hole here for some reason. I don't know why. It's not a detent. There's no detents here. But yeah, a bit of oil there, a bit of oil there. Spread it around. Now the oil in this case is just to lube up the surface. It's not to. It's not for any kind of rust prevention because it's a rust-proof knife. Hence the name salt. Now, this guy is going to go in here. You press this, slide this in, boom. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is you should lube up the pivot here, the collar, just for a little bit extra glide energy right there. Okay, so it's already feeling a lot smoother. So now let's just reassemble everything, snap everything into place. Take the pivot screw, put this bad boy in here, take this one, put it in here, take this guy, and this is the last screw. So pretty easy to take apart and put together, which I really appreciate. The less things that can go wrong, the better. Okay, really tight. We are at maximum tightness. Oh yeah, really smooth. Centering is pretty darn perfect. You almost flick it out. There we go. I could not flick it out just now, but now that is smooth. Let's see how far we can take the pivot off. Do we have any blade play? No blade play. No blade play. Really smooth. Let's see how much further we can take it off. Still no blade play. Let's see if we can put it out even further. Wow, still no blade play. How's the action? Action's good. Action's really good. Still no blade play. However, I feel that this next adjustment will cause a bit of blade play. Another 1/8 of a turn. Wow. Okay, now there's just a slightest hint of blade play. Just the tiniest amount. Or could that be... Okay. Could that be... I'm making that up. There is still no blade play. Wow, okay, so it seems like as much as I keep unscrewing it, it's still not inducing any blade play. I think it's because of my hands. Once they're there, they're kind of squeezing the FRN. So it's causing the blade play to disappear once I squeeze it down. Which is very nice. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to tighten it to a comfortable tightness where I don't feel like the screw is going to come out. So right now this is maximum tightness. And I'm just going to loosen it up by about 1/4 of a turn. Just to get that action. And definitely no blade play. Alright, so overall, very impressive knife to disassemble and reassemble. Very easy to take apart and put back together. And well, keep it in store for the full review. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do let me know if you have any version of the Native 5, because there's a lot of versions out there. You have S30V, S35, this is LC200N, you have K390 and just a whole bunch of other stuff. You guys, thanks for watching, and do subscribe to the channel and check out the links in the description box down below. Thanks and stay ready.